Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Review Buzz, and today I'm going to be reviewing a restaurant here in El Paso called Tortilleria Crystal. It's authentic Mexican food. A lot of people say it's a hidden gem here in town. It's actually pretty close to my house. I'd say probably a 10-minute drive. Um, Real small place, and we're going to check it out, but before we do, before I usually try out a new place, I like looking at the reviews, um, usually the lowest ratings. So we'll go ahead and do that first. So I'll read off a couple and, just to see what I'm getting myself into. So this first one here says, these people have good food, but they quickly run out of food. Very limited supply. They always run out of what I like. They are not open to customer feedback. Alright. Let's see. Somebody said, not worth the stop. Food not that good. Small, no room drinks are bottled sodas and water. I don't know what that person tried spelling or saying, but looks like they didn't like the food. Good food, bad customer service. There was hair in my burritos. Alright, so we're going to go check this place out and see what all the hype's about. They do have 4.5 stars when you look it up on Google, so, and it's got over 1,000 reviews. So I'd say that's pretty, I'd say usually, with that many reviews, I'd say it's pretty accurate. So we're going to check this place out, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright, so what you guys came here for, we got the food. I got this platter of food. It's tres gorditas, rice, beans, some lettuce, and tomato. I got chicharrón, lengua, and I think it's called discada or something like that. I'm not too sure how to say that, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I actually threw in an extra to make it 4, which is barbacoa right there. That looks really good too. So the service was pretty fast. I'd probably say it took them honestly 5 minutes to get this to me. Obviously with us not being able to eat there because of COVID-19, we couldn't eat there. So we had to bring it home, and yeah, we had to bring it home. It was quick though. It's like I said, it's a couple minutes away from the house. So, we just went there, came back. Honestly, I thought it was pretty cheap for the amount of food. I think, they didn't give me too much rice by the looks of it. They mostly gave me a lot of beans, as you can see on this side over here. But they kind of just threw the rice. It's a little sloppy, to be honest, but it looks good still. Like I said, they didn't really put a whole lot of rice in here. It's mostly all beans and cheese. But it still looks good. I know we did show up a little bit closer to closing, so they might be low on food. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so let's get into it. So here's the beans, the rice. They threw some cheese on there. Food's good. Beans are pretty good. Rice is pretty good. It is a little. It's not cold, but it's a little. It's not warm, like hot and ready kind of stuff. We'll go over here with the barbacoa. So they just kind of threw this in aluminum foil. This actually looks really good. If you want to take a closer look at that. And let's see what she's about. Here we go. Looks pretty good. Looks like they got some onion in there and some sort of, I don't know, some sort of chile in there. I'm not sure. But let's see. Pretty good. The meat has flavor, but it's a little stiff, or like a little hard. But it definitely has. It's still good. It's pretty good, but they didn't really put that much. These are kind of small. I don't know if I mentioned that already. These are pretty small. You can see with 2 bites, I mean, you're practically done with the meat. Still good. Move this one off to the side for right now. I really like chicharron, and they put it at the bottom. So let's try to get this without ripping it apart. Oh, I kind of ripped already. So there's that. So if you don't know what chicharron is, it's basically all pork skin, I believe, or pork meat. Alright, so our battery died, I apologize, but yeah, chicharron's my favorite. The other side already ripped off, so yeah, there's that. Looks pretty good. Like I said, honestly, I'd say probably pretty stingy on the meat, but it still looks good, so let's try this out. That's real good. This is pretty good. Not even gonna lie about it. It's pretty good, but again, with these 2, I'll honestly probably take 2 bites of this, and most of that meat's gone. So the third one that I have in here is gordita de lengua, which is basically cow tongue. So if you haven't tried them, you need to try these. The meat looks good. I personally like the meat chopped up a lot more than these rectangle pieces of meat. But I mean, it is what it is. It looks like they actually threw a lot of meat, a lot of this meat in here, so they really fill this one up, at least. But me personally, like I said, I just like the meat a little more chopped up and whatnot. But you know, let's give this a shot. Here's a closer look. Excuse me. All right. I mean, it still looks good, but let's see. Yeah, the meat's just a tiny bit dry. It's still good though. I'll probably finish this up, honestly. And it's not like, you know, nothing I haven't tried before. It's still good. Meat could be a little bit more juicy. They definitely stuffed this one up with meat though, so props for that. And lastly is this fourth one, which is I think they call it discada or something like that. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, so I'm not even sure what kind of meat this is. It looks kind of moist, and it looks good, so I got it. They really stuffed this one up with meat, honestly, too. They were pretty stingy on the chicharron and the barbacoa, but the lengua and this one, I'd say they really stuffed. So let's give this one a shot. Here's a closer look. All right, put a big chunk in there. So let's give this one a shot. This one's really good. Honestly, this is probably the best one out of all of them. They really stuffed this one. The meats has great flavor. It's like moist. It's nice and chopped up. And yeah, they weren't stingy on the meat at all on this, like I said. This is actually really good. Honestly, I wish I would have just got 4 of these, to be honest with you. This meat's really good. Still good. This food's good, honestly. It's good food. Pretty authentic, honestly. The flavor's there, but it's just, you know, the amount of meat they stuck in here is just, honestly, pretty stingy on it. So, I'm going to finish this up, or try to at least. I'll probably honestly finish it up. Alright, so here we are with the final product. So, finished most of this, beans, rice, most of the lettuce, just some scraps. So here we are with this. So like I said earlier, pretty stingy on the meat. That's about half of it right there. So I mean, you know, they could have threw some more meat in there, to be honest. Just, you know, a bunch of scraps from it and whatnot. Overall, the meat was pretty good. The plate was pretty good. Some cons of this, what I would say is pretty stingy on the rice, pretty stingy on the meat. The food was a little cold. It could have been a little bit more warm. The plate was a little messy, so, you know, they just kind of threw the rice wherever, kind of thing. But I mean, the food's good. Would I go back? I'll probably go back, honestly. It was pretty good. The meat was good. The rice was good. The beans were good. Most of this was good. I'd probably give this I'd probably say a 7 out of 10. It definitely could have been a lot better, but it was still good. The price was great for what I paid for, you know, for all this food that I got. I think I only spent like $8 or $9, which I think was pretty cheap, honestly, for all this food. I'd probably say it's not as hype or as good as everyone makes it seem on the reviews. It's good food, but it's not the best I've ever had, to be honest. I'm sure there's, honestly, possibly better here in town. I couldn't tell you for sure because I don't eat out a whole lot. And if I do, I don't usually eat Mexican food just because we're Mexican and I can eat that any other day. But yeah, so 7 out of 10. Definitely would go back. Price was good. I couldn't tell you about inside the restaurant. It looks kind of small, but a lot of people say, you know, some people say the service is good, other people say, you know, it's not. Then again, some people like the food and some people don't. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents. But this concludes today's video. I'll probably do another food review from a restaurant here in town. I'm not too sure where. A lot of places are closed due to the virus or drive-through only or takeout only or delivery or something like that. So it's kind of hard, you know, especially if they're a really popular place, to be waiting on food for a long time. So other than that, we'll wrap this up. And if you're ever in El Paso, give this place a shot.